Yeah. Vanglorious Vanguard.
Knowledge born.
Yeah.
United Front. What you want, what you want, what you want.
To the Knowledge Radio.
We in here. What you got? Dot.
Work hard as a slave to one day be your savior. The wave unwavering. This is a labor of love. Rise with a purpose every day. Invigorated. If we were on TV, we'd be 10 times syndicated. If we waited for validation, a paycheck or accolades, we'd be starved, already lost or ran away. But when you're square solid and you circle too, you don't need a place for silence. The concept is conquered through media, not areas of people activity. A mix that don't lose ethnicity, tightness that don't lose elasticity. Explicitly, this isn't where we give the novice regard. Nah, this is where knowledge is born. Last time that I checked, I'm undefeated. Deliver edicts, can't resist when the gods build and manifest freedom. When lines get crossed, they may push a loss, cause they get handed a check. We kick a can and cancel your cancerous gestures. A prophet vision, precision, the prescription for the sickness is to inoculate your fate with the winning. Arrogant beginnings turn to humble endings. And US with KBA is a win-win. 1K, 1K.
I think what you're trying to ask is why am I so insistent upon giving out to them that blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no choice over it. In the first place, to me, we are the most beautiful creatures in the whole world, black people. I mean that in every sense, outside and inside. And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in this same interview, I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary. When I'm finished working, as tired as I am, and my work completely takes all my energy, unfortunately, but when there are kids who come backstage afterwards who want to talk or who are moved to the point, sometimes they're moved to tears, I want to know more about it, and they shake my hand and they kiss me and they want to talk about their problems. I find the time to do so as much as I can. I discourage breakfasts and speeches because I don't make speeches, but I will go out of my way, in spite of the fact that I'm too tired to do it, to talk to them at least for 5 minutes or so, to sock to them the same message that I just finished doing on stage, and perhaps to hear some of their grievances, or just to make them feel that they are not alone. Because when you have a few colored kids in a huge white college, any way you cut it, they are alienated and they feel it. So when I come, I feel a responsibility. They're so glad to see me because I represent something to them, and I can't give them enough, you know. They need me. They need me. And when I'm needed, I have to give. I curse myself afterwards for having no voice, usually, and being so exhausted that I can't do anything for myself. But when they need me for, and the most important thing is, they are our future. It's an investment as far as I am concerned. When I invest time in young people from colleges, I know that I'm going to get that bread back. You know, bread cast upon the water comes back. Because when I see them doing their thing one day and I'm too old to do anything but sit and look at them, I'm going to say, well, I was part of that. I never intend for my children to look at me and be ashamed and say, Mama, why didn't you do something? I will have done mine. And so every time I talk to them, it's an investment to me.
Bibi Fahodier. United Front presents Ambassador O. Cypher incomplete. Yeah. Listen. Man and man, that cypher's incomplete. One man and one man, that cypher's incomplete. This misbehavior our children must not repeat. We're diving head first into this European cesspool of immorality. Our racist future is the casualty. European culture is anti-African. Let's bring it back to when everything was black again. Brother, you share a bed with another woman who ain't the same color as your mother? That cypher's incomplete. Sisters, I dare you walk the street with the devil savagely beat and raped our grandmamas. I repeat, that cypher's incomplete. Yeah. If being complete is what you seek, stay away from those whose gene pools is weak, and find a mate whose skin is black as Mozambique. Mixing with your enemy is a sign of defeat. Black man, white God, that cypher's incomplete. Smoking weed, but claiming you don't eat meat. That cypher's incomplete. They say the earth shall be inherited by the meek, but the majority of my people count sheep. Eyes wide shut, mentally still asleep. Never take the time to think, but still you choose to speak. Turn your face away from the truth, put all your trust and belief. That cypher's incomplete. Mother with child, left to raise a son with no father around. That cypher's incomplete. 180 degrees is only half of what we need. If we don't complete the cipher, we will never be free. 360. Cipher complete. Yo, Ambassador O, state your declaration, God.
Nobody else say it, know that Omawali love you. Willing to put my life on the line just to preserve you. My pride, sense of dignity, my overall virtue won't allow me to act cowardly or desert you. Sometimes I really feel like I don't deserve to be your ambassador. I'm obliged to prove that I'm worthy. Please forgive my transgressions that contributed to aiding racism, white supremacy as a mental kid. My state of ignorance in my youth is due to them. Miseducation due to they soul to the ledge. Now I know better, a go-getter, my motto. My every action declaration of war on Diablos. Melanin recessive, yes, we're professing. I love for being melanated with one simple gesture. Separation from the hatred that make us hate us, then wake up, take up arms in all forms and change us. The white man's the devil, Shaitan supreme, but we got some running around looking like you and me. Be vigilant as you are militant. Kings and queens recognize the duel, be ready to duel with this beast. I scream it from the mountaintop, 4,000 leagues in the sea. I love you so much I neglect eating and even sleep. To bring this message that's addressed to you, keep in mind there must be war just to have peace. I opened the papers today and it was war. See the state of my people from near and afar. See pics of us as gator bait, made for the sharks. Bearers of their burdens, yes, we need a star. Contrast being steadfast, double task. Cause coward ass would rather stay oppressed while staying fresh. Wow. Ignorance is truly bliss. Being afraid of death makes 6 feet the greatest depth. But every time I speak, I dig deeper than that. And these times just keep hitting the fact. Who was maneuvers couldn't stop the inevitable. Sound the bugle, fire shield, impenetrable. The black messiah right on schedule. Plural, is it you or is it you? or is it you?
In this world, is there any love? In this world, is there any love? In this world, oh boy, is there any love? In this world, people fighting on every side, cause they've lost their dignity and pride, hating their neighbor, killing their brother, they lost their love for each other. Is there any love in this world? Is there any love in this world? Is there any love in this world? Oh, boy. Is there any love in this world? Is there any love? Is there any love? Is there any love? Is there any love? Let me get it.
Right, peace and blessed power. We're going to another episode of Knowledge Radio. Place pronounced as born. This is your host, Knowledge Born Alive, here in the building, giving our tribute on the late night, Legacy remembered, celebrating the lives of our Hajj Sabaz, Brother Omar Wali, affectionately known to the world as Minister Malcolm X, on his transition day, and celebrating the God day of the High Priestess of Soul, Queen Mother Simone, and the Zanian Crown Prince, the Zanian liberator, one of the greatest leaders since Amakosi Shaka Zulu in that region, Dr. Robert Mugabe. He gonna do the Knowledge Radio, so play a couple of clips, share some thoughts, and we'll be out of here. You'll be listening from. Make sure you go to www.youtube.com/Do the Knowledge Radio. So heard the clip of our Queen Mother, the High Priestess of Soul, Eunice Simone, speaking about that blackness, that black power, talking about us from our cultural perspective and vantage point, and the untapped potential that lies within the essence of our story and our sojourn. So it was her job, she said, by hook or crook, to convince us or persuade us to look deeper into the aspects of our history beyond our current circumstances. So she was born Eunice Kathleen Waymon on February 21st, 1933. So her work in music, work with our people, all of those things, she left an iconic and amplified voice that was for resistance, for struggle, and for cultural awareness. I know an epic song, Mississippi Goddamn, speaking about the lynchings and the hell that Black people are catching in the state of Mississippi. To be young, gifted, and Black, that's a fact. Okay, other song, Young, Gifted, and Black. It's a song of empowerment in a time where we were looked at and viewed as subhuman, 3/5, N-words and such. So her music was politically charged, spoke against racial injustice, racial inequality, and empowerment. And they tried everything in their power to discredit her and to have her look other than self. artful attempts, malicious attempts, all kinds of things. So we honor her today. We honor her for her love, her sacrifice, for her guidance and her fearlessness. Very bold, very fearless. She was not afraid to meet our enemy face to face. She said she was prepared to get down. Shotgun for shotgun. Okay? Shotgun for shotgun. So we honor her in this tribute, honor her and her sacrifice. So beautiful. Even the great Lauryn Hill epitomized her in the rhyme and said, while you playing Al Capone, I'll be needing Simone and defecating on your microphone. So she was talking to the rappers who chose the route of being a gangster, you know, and she chose a level of ascension with her art. So we honor her on this day and pay her tribute. May she rise in ancestral grace and power. The beloved High Priestess of Soul, Eunice Simone. All right, next we go to this clip from one of the greatest African leaders of our time, born on February 21st, 1924. One who was not used as a puppet or a pawn, one who is unapologetic and was unapologetic in his approach, in his fight for the plight of the African, all over the world, and more especially in South Africa, where they are victims of apartheid and what that meant in his place. So I have a small clip from one of his speeches, and we will elevate and edify his life and legacy.
We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. We are not gays. Cooperation and respect for each other will advance the cause of human rights worldwide. Confrontation, vilification, and double standards will not. Mr. President, self-determination and independence are intrinsic and fundamental rights that should be enjoyed by all peoples everywhere without distinction. We are deeply concerned by the continued denial of this basic right to the Sahrawi people. We urge the United Nations to expeditiously finalize what must be done to conclude the decolonization of the Western Sahara.
So long live our ancestral giant and warrior, Dr. Robert Mugabe, a Zimbabwean revolutionary and politician who served as prime minister and later president of Zimbabwe, played a pivotal role in the country's fight for independence from British colonial rule and was hailed as a hero upon achieving independence in 1980. So in 1980, they fought the colonist rule. 1980, a fight that was long fought since 1880 against British colonial rule and European colonial rule and all of the rest of the world in South Africa We must remember that since 1880, a 100-year struggle to be free from the clutches of European colonial power, British colonial rule. 100 years. 100 years. Now we look at the period between 1957 and 1975 with Western African countries fighting for their independence by the aid of Black people here in the United States and across the diaspora, financially and militaristically. And we look at Tanzania, we look at Zimbabwe, we look at South Africa fighting apartheid, fighting colonial, political and colonial militaristic occupation, and also the aid of neo-colonialists in the region. Dr. Mugabe fought against them all and remained in a revolutionary posture until his departure from the physical world to return to the realm of the ancestors. We give him honor, we give him praise, we give him a salute. He was the most academically trained African leader of all time. And his strategic mind was unmatched. So despite his bad perception in the press by colonial powers and for the powers that be to defame him and to regard him as a tyrant, his land belongs to his people for them to be self-governing, self-defining, self-defending, and self-determining. It's a rich legacy of liberation, not in philosophy alone, but in application. So we honor him and we uplift him. So honors to Dr. Robert Mugabe for his contributions to African people and pushing the plight of separation from our enemies. So now we're here for what we've been waiting for. Play this clip from Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, Brother Omawali, affectionately known to the world as Minister Malcolm.
We are African, and we happen to be in America. We're not American. We are people who formerly were Africans who were kidnapped and brought to America. Our forefathers weren't the Pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us. We were brought here against our will. We were not brought here to be made citizens. We were not brought here to enjoy the constitutional gifts that they speak so beautifully about today. And because we weren't brought here to be made citizens today, now that we've become awakened to some degree and we begin to ask for those things which they say are supposedly for Americans, they look upon us with hostility and unfriendliness. If you're interested in freedom, you need some judo, you need some karate, you need all the things that will help you fight for freedom. Nationalism is the wave of the present and the future. It is nationalism that's bringing freedom to oppressed people all over the world. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Algerians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the Nigerians and to the Ghanaians. It was nationalism that brought freedom to the people of Uganda and Tanganyika and Sudan and Somaliland. The Africans didn't get it by sitting in. They didn't get it by waiting in. They didn't get it by singing "We Shall Overcome." They got it through nationalism. And you and I will get it through nationalism. What is it? What is it that makes it difficult for the philosophy of nationalism to spread among the so-called Negroes? Number one, they think they have a stake in America. They think they have an investment in this country, which we do. We invested 310 years of slave labor, 310 years, every day of which your and my mother and father worked for nothing. Not 8 hours a day. There was no union in that day. They worked from sun up until sundown, from can't see in the morning until can't see at night. They never had a day off. And on Sunday, they were allowed to sit down and sing about when they die, they wouldn't be slaves no more. When they die, they wouldn't be slaves no more. They'd go up in the sky, and every day would be Sunday. That's a shame. And it is that 310 years of slave labor that went in, that was my and your contribution into this particular economy and political system. They can give us the back pay. Let's join in. If this is what the Negro wants, let's join him. Let's show him how to struggle. Let's show him how to fight. Let's show him how to bring about a real revolution. Let's make him stop jiving. You don't need a debate. You don't need a filibuster. You need some action.
You don't need a filibuster. You don't need a debate. You need some action. Here we are in 2024, still having filibusters, still having debates, yet still no action. Still filibustering, still debating, still no action. Despite the actions of our enemies, foreign and domestic, internal and external, being waged upon us at every front, militaristically, politically, chemically, biologically, physically, emotionally, psychologically, psychospiritually, holistically, every single arena and aspect, every single area of people activity, every single way that you can skin, we are being skinned. And we have become willing participants, willing co-conspirators, and willing sadists in regards to our own destruction. So on this day, 59 years ago, February 21st, 1965, Alhaji Miguel Shabazz, Brother Omawali, affectionately known to the world as Minister Malcolm X, was brutally and viciously assassinated at the Audubon Ballroom in the afternoon, broad daylight, in front of his pregnant wife with twins, Dr. Betty Shabazz, peace and blessings be upon him, and 3 of his daughters at the time. Brutally slain for speaking against the tyranny and the oppression of America upon its citizens. Americanism, waging total and relentless war on its citizens, regardless of our sojourn here in America, regardless of our countless efforts, and regardless of our cooperation, serving in its militaries, serving in its labor force, serving in every single capacity of place, from economic to militaristic to political to spiritual, every nook and cranny of the place, America's response was, is, and will be destructive towards it. Malcolm showed us that with his life and with his legacy, with his family that he left behind under the tutelage and guidance of one of the greatest Black women to ever live, Dr. Betty Shabazz. Peace and blessings be upon her. He showed us America's response to our organization, America's response to our mobilization, America's response to our outcry for separation and segregation, servitude and independence, all equaled in death. February 21st, 1965. The most surveilled man in America at that time. The most surveilled man in America at that time. 24/7, 365 surveillance at home and abroad. The federal government here and the Central Intelligence Agencies abroad. No matter where this man went, someone was there. Poisoned out of the country. A week before this, February 14, 1965, house firebomb. 1 week later, assassinated in front of his wife and children. No regard for their life, no regard for their safety. None whatsoever. So I want us to ponder on that as we watch these pictorial images, and we watch these movies and TV shows, and we gather together to hen and peck with these books and all of these things, that this man and his legacy was hated. This man and his legacy was hated This man and his legacy was hated. So I want us to understand that there's a penalty that comes along with standing up and standing strong. Not this blacklist, shadow banning stuff that we're speaking about. I'm talking about operatives selected to destroy you, not in a court of public opinion. So I'm speaking of assassination attempts on your life. This is what he lived. This isn't what we live. This is what he lived. This is what his family lived. After the assassination, it did not stop. After his assassination, it did not stop. They circled in on his family. They sought to take his children from his wife and have her committed. These attempts did not stop. 32 years later, there's a fire. 32 years later, there's a fire. These attempts on the life, the attempts to discredit, the attempts on public assassination, these attempts on every single front did not stop. Nothing stopped until they were successful in their attempts to degrade, demean, undermine, and destroy Malcolm X and his legacy. I want us to take note of that. All three of these figures here were scoffed, were mocked, and demeaned. But one of them was assassinated. One of them was assassinated. One of them was assassinated in front of their families, as their families had to watch in horror, as if they could ever recover. And then here comes fake friends and associates, people who said they loved Malcolm, coming after his family, cooperating with the operatives that wanted to destroy him, to publicly berate him, to laugh at his death, to come after his family. We're not living these lives. We're not living under these circumstances. We're not even living a droplet of the life of a man who only got to spend 39 years on the planet. Who had to live after his father was assassinated and his mother was committed and his family was broken up. He had to live. He had to live in reform school. He had to live without his mother and his father. He had to live without his siblings. He had to go to prison. He had to spend his formative years in prison. He had to come out of prison into an organization, help to build the organization, help to increase the organization. He found his wife and began to raise his family. And he chose us. He chose us. No matter what the pressures were, no matter what the price was, he chose us. His family was his legacy, but we were his legacy also. And he gave his life. He gave his life. That's not something that could be written. That's not something that could be quantified. That's not something that could be documented. That's not something that could be in a movie or a TV show. You cannot capture or attempt to recreate that life. You don't know that life. You don't know that life. You could hear about that life from someone who lived that life and still don't understand that life because you ain't lived that life. He lived that life. Every single day of his life, he lived that life. We play with that life. We teeter around with that life. We read the speeches and read the books and the autobiographies. We teeter around in the life, but we don't live the life. We don't know the cost. We don't know the sacrifice. We just bump our gums about it as if we could. So the least that we could do is celebrate. The least we could do is honor, pay tribute, pay homage. It's the least that we could do. The most that we could do is get involved. The most that we could do is get involved. So let's use our whole being. Sit some young people down and teach them about the true life of Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, Brother Omar. Teach them about the true life of the High Priestess of Soul, Simone, the true life of our Azanian Prince, Dr. Robert Mugabe. Teach them about the true life and legacy of themselves. Teach them the cost. Teach them the sacrifice. Teach them what comes along with it. Prepare them for the day and time and what must be done.
Zodiac, Priestess, Royal Priestess. priesthood.
In 86, the devil raised the bar, but I'm a hurdler. And I'm the good thief. I sneak in your toxic house, the burglar. The musical Merkaba came to set free the Lucifer worshippers. Like James Bond 007, the soul of an old legend. Negative energy murderer, good or evil, angel or demon interpreter. Kings with frankincense and myrrh, and perfumes anoint me soon as my birth occur. Like Ben-Hur, I'm indigenous to Gilgamesh. With brilliantness became the builders of the pyramids. Now we lost in American North wilderness. I became the force, a poor man's ventriloquist. On the island far away from home like Gilligan. Took us from our villages till we find our way back through resilience and our diligence. Through rags and wave caps, black fists look militant. And college remembrance, while living ignorance. Driving kids with innocence, dreams fly limitless. Straight towards the nebula, with cannon or the terror. Black boys face, we all in this together. I chase demons in my cape, my sword and my scepter. His brother Glow the Great, the lord of this era. Royal priesthood, gold plates and treasures. Anubis, my eye, weigh your heart against the feather. Carted Satan out your soul, lifting him out, he's on a stretcher. With my divine helicopter, with shocking propellers, outlines made of copper. The fortune teller, my dragon glows green like matcha. New York regalia, like Robin Walker, it's the prophet Walter. From the days of Iron Sheik versus Sergeant Slaughter, blue around my garment borders. Fringes, execute vengeance. Mathematics, Qurans and Taurus. Rock the head of Horus, rocks in the watch is gorgeous. Behind my will, it fell into the wheel, metamorphing. Start spinning clockwise and counterclockwise. On the outside, my car became a flying saucer, straight through the orbit.
Use my mind, lose my mind, I will. Use my mind,
Yo, masquerade killer, Michael hijacked the sun, matinee thriller. Zombie apocalypse is center for disease. Says my tracks are way iller. Ice adrenochrome cubes keep they cabernet chiller. And thought this thought, they don't want you to think. Knowledge is power. Shock the flowers, make my aura look pink. To know the ledge, godly hour, push your thoughts to the brink. You can't even close your eyes, become a corpse if you blink. Where the oracle sink. I was born in the Sphinx. Copper DNA necklace with historical links. Hiding poison in the food, in the water you drink. Cause they raised done and they just biding their time. Throw food the lost tube coming down on my mind. Stab you with a light ray cause you was dying to shine. Then I disappeared like a truth post in your IG. Holy Spirit dripping like a ghost in your IV. Can't deport them all, we was already here. So get in tune with the voices in the water right here. You don't see the embryo in the form of your ear. Invisible man, I make myself awfully clear. Royal priesthood, astrologers is Lord of the Spheres. Throwing platinum plates, you thought the flying saucers appeared. Yeah, they scared to wear their own face in the street. Deep elixirs, beast addicted to the taste of the sheep. On Harry Potter's wheel, the god knew arrange my physique. Kai, Elohim, Globe, the Arabian chic. 7 circles like the planets in the days of the week. Supreme math, solar facts in the language I speak. You brainwashed if you watching the news. Never make the wrong step when the laws in my shoes. The dream weaver make it seem there's no option to choose. Corona dope fiends, they be trying to nod. They in line to get shot, that's a fireman squad. Pharmaceutical, shoot to kill line with the gods. I cried for the angel babies that have died in the fog. Caught up in the crossfire like a panther in a Klan rally. Zodiac, they need these answers in my hands badly. Like palm readers, break dancers in the sand valley. I moonwalked on chemtrails in the sky. On the path to ancient Kemet, where the scales in my eyes. The sun and moon temple sitting on the side of my head. A million years I still remember every line that I said. Hermes Trismegistus, serve me the statistics. 99 attributes of Allah, 99% survival rate. Imagine the odds when you're the Neo, you're the one that made the patterns evolve. Another chapter to solve, why did Saturn revolve? Spinal column, I am Amen, climb the ladder to Oz. On a rocket to Nebula, the planet of the gods.
use my mind, I won't lose my mind, I will use my mind, I won't lose my mind, use my mind.
Musical math, get used to the craft. Use my mind, turn the mic to a Caduceus staff. Five shapes in a box. Tetragrammaton, Tetris, see my face in the watch. Circle of life displayed in an arrangement of clocks. You can't be so diplomatic when you're breaking the locks. God Zodiac, Killer Priest, Wrong Priestess.